Hi everybody, it's March 11th, 2026. The terminology or the concept of being okay with everything, it seems like it's admirable. It seems like it's a nice, peaceful way to be. Being okay with everything, understanding everything, letting nothing really get to you or upset you. This is a great state to be in. And the thing about it is temporary. And when it goes away, when we start having trouble with things, when we start getting upset by things, when things start affecting us again after we've had this kind of intermittent peace, we start to think, what's wrong with our lives? What's wrong with this world? What's wrong with ourselves? And my conclusion about not being able to sustain being okay with everything is just that winning at life isn't going to be won by the terms that we on this realm will understand. Winning this life doesn't necessarily happen at the very end of the life on this side of reality. It doesn't necessarily happen in the midst of it either. Winning at life may not be entirely in our hands. Winning at life may be living your life the way that you choose to, and maybe there is no losing at life. Maybe there is only winning, and we may find out that we have won well before we reach our end on this plane. So if you are wondering why are you losing at life, why aren't you winning, why aren't you at peace, why aren't things being sustainable in a comfortable kind of climate in your life, just ponder that our understanding of life, our understanding of winning at life is limited. It's not the full picture, and it might be hidden other dimensions that we may reach concurrently or parallel or later in our lives. So this gets me to thinking about your narrative. The first thing I could say, the first caveat I could say about your narrative is I wouldn't be too paranoid about other people. I wouldn't be too worried about what other people say, but if somebody captures your narrative and tries to turn it against you, try to use it to manipulate you, the way to gain back your control over somebody that has influenced your personal summary of your narrative is just to go to God and go to the truth. And I know that seems cliche, and I know that seems kind of overly religious or overly traditionalist, but if you go to God and if you go to the honest truth of your narrative, your flaws aren't major sins. Your flaws and your mistakes aren't condemnation for the rest of your eternal life. If somebody grabs your narrative and tries to paint you as selfish, as guilty, as uncouth, as evil, and you know that you are not, you know that you have flaws, but no matter how they try to paint you into a corner with the manipulation of your narrative, if you go back to the truth, and if you go back to understanding yourself and being patient with yourself, you can snatch the narrative back and restructure it into a stronger proponent of your existence. Another thing I could say about your narrative is that changing it isn't necessarily the best way to go about it, and changing it takes more work than you would think. Changing it on a whim is not exactly wise to do. Changing your narrative happens when you find yourself in the groove of where you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be going. Changing your narrative is one of the most powerful things you could do, actually, too. If you have been living under your potential, well under your known potential, and you have been scared to elevate, you have been scared to take on the discipline it takes to take you above where you are now residing, that is a powerful and possible change to your narrative. And once you keep on increasing your spiritual power, your spiritual aptitude, your understanding, and changing your narrative in that way, the less likely it is to be penetrated by the forces that may try to keep us down in this world. And they may not be literally conscious forces, but the atmospheric conditions sometimes augment our narratives and get us to act out of character, or to get us or divert us into a character that is more easily controllable. And the last thing I can say about your narrative is when you realize that your narrative of your life and who you are is beautiful, you may not feel it deeply. You may just take cursory glances at it and appreciate it. But just knowing that it's there, just knowing that your narrative, that your life, that your personality, your character is beautiful, it gives you power in order to pursue that nature of yourself, pursue the admirable qualities that you have, and to use them and to bring more enjoyment into your life, into more understanding and more patience with your life. And with those things, with more understanding, patience, and admiration of your life and your character, you are bound to make better decisions, and you're bound to protect your progress more easily. So I hope this helps. Thanks.